Hi everybody, I'm Marcus.
And I'm Letitia.
And this is your marriage tip for today.
Today's marriage tip is all about submission.
Right. Submission is something that I think is confused in today's society and among a lot of couples, but if we can get a good grasp on it, I think it'll be a great blessing to our marriages. So first of all, we need to realize that submission is not man's idea, or it was not man's idea, it was God's idea.
Right.
It begins in the Bible. What is submission? Let's try to get a definition here. A good definition of submission is surrendering to the preferences of another. Just real simple. You might not find that in Webster's, but that's my definition.
Marcus Tankard.
The Tankard definition for 2014. Anyway, so, but even with that, the roles are different. Like the way I submit to Letitia is different than the way she submits to me. And I'll try to make it as simple as I can. You know, the woman submits to the husband's lead, okay? And the husband submits to the woman's need.
Right. As a woman, you get to choose the person that you get to submit to.
Right, so there's no room to complain.
Right.
You complain about who you submit to. No, you picked them. So.
Right, you chose them. So that should be the easy part.
Right, because you didn't pick no dummy.
Hopefully. As wives, we have it easier because the Bible tells us to submit to our husbands, but the Bible tells husbands to love their wives as Christ loves the church. We may not be able to go to Olive Garden or something like that, but the husbands, they have to live a living death.
Right. Meaning that now I live for the betterment of my wife. And that doesn't just show up in my speech saying, yeah, I'm submitting to my wife. No, that means that it shows up in my thoughts.
Right.
Meaning that I'm constantly thinking of ways that I can love her and meet her needs, spirit, soul, and body. But then that comes up in my spending habits.
Thank you. I like that, babe.
Yeah, I bet you would. Then as the husband, submission should manifest also in your priorities. Meaning that, you know, your wife isn't listed among your hobbies. No, your wife is your wife. So if you don't exercise at least 2 times as much diligence in dating your wife and loving her as you do with football, basketball, or whatever your hobby or your vice is, something's wrong. And this is the thing. If your wife doesn't know that she's the priority in your life or in your planning or in your day-to-day routine, then I would venture to say you're not submitting properly.
I think a lot of times people, you know, take the scripture, husbands are supposed to love their wives as Christ loved the church. I think they take that to mean, well, Christ loved the church so much that he died for the church. Any man that really loves his wife, they'll be willing to die.
But it will probably never come to that.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's all about the living death. Right.
You may never be presented with the opportunity to take a bullet for your wife. That's just the bottom line.
You take a bullet for me, baby?
Of course I take a bullet for you. But hold on. Wait. The question is not whether or not how many bullets I will take. The question is, how many times will I stop reading and surfing the net to cuddle? Or how many times will I go over to my mother-in-law's house because my wife needs to see her mama? See, submitting to the need, giving myself over to the preferences of my wife. If she's going to be woman enough to submit to my lead, when I say, okay, God's saying we need to go in this direction, or no, I don't want to go eat here, I want to eat here, or I like things a certain way in the house. If she's willing to do that, the least that I can do is give myself so that her needs can be met, spirit, soul, and mind.
Right. Wives, when you submit to your husband, it's going to bring out the best in him.
Right. You know, he stick his chest out and, you know, he leads with more confidence. You know, I believe that every husband needs to know that his wife believes in him, believes in his ability to hear from God, believe in his ability to lead the family, believe in his ability to love her. You know, and then, you know, I think that wives need that constant affirmation, that love, and that affection. We got to be willing to submit to that. Again, I think the hallmark phrase here is that this submission thing works both ways.
Think about it, ladies. Sarah took this whole submission thing so serious to the point that she called her husband Lord.
Right.
Right. I mean, I'm not telling you wives to go out and call you.
Because she don't call me Lord.
Lord
Ain't nobody
Marcus,
said,
love you, Lord Marcus. I'm not saying you have to do all that, but
it should come out in your attitude.
But she is a great example of submission.
Right. Let that affirmation and that adoration that Sarah had for Abraham, it should come out in your tone. It should come out in your posture. It should come out in your attitude. Your presence should not speak that your husband owes you something.
Right.
Or vice versa. It shouldn't speak that. No. What is your presence saying? What aura are you letting off? That's a good indication. That's just how submissive you are.
Yeah, I like that, Lord Marcus. Well, that was your marriage tip for today.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm a little hot. We gotta hurry up, turn this off.
With the Lord.
See,
that's probably why Sarah was calling Abraham Lord.
This has been a great marriage tip. We got to go handle some business here. Check out our other videos on this channel. Subscribe, comment, share.
All of our information is listed in the description box below.
See you again soon. Bye.